Technically, it's still Happy Friday because it's only 11:59. So happy Friday, TGIF, for one more minute. Welcome to the Midnight Express. That will include Nickatina when he gets here, and the wingman Brad is here.
Yes, and we were going to have a stream earlier, as I'm sure a lot of you were anticipating, of that was going to be torturing me with a certain spoof movie from the year 2000. But William had a little bit of an accident with his phone, so we had to
The
postpone
phone
that.
got fucking crushed is what happened, but that's fine because, like I said, AT&T basically bends me over and gives it to me on a monthly basis for the last 13 years. Part of that subterfuge is the insurance plan I have. I have a better insurance plan on my phone than I do on my life. And I started out having to get an upgrade. And I'm like, well, I got insurance. I was like, yeah, we can insure you, but we can't get you, the phone, they couldn't get it to me. Like, I need a phone. And now it's like, so they did a workaround. So I had to get an upgrade, but they're going to take care of it on back end with the credits on it so that I'm good there. So, yeah, I got a brand new phone. It was, but like I said, that didn't really take that long. It just is when it happened. And then when I got back, I had a line of people waiting for Dune because the Dune promo was supposed to start at 5 and they weren't going anywhere. So I've given away 20 Dune tickets already.
And the showing for that you're doing is on Monday, right?
Monday. I cannot wait. And plus, no day, I don't care how fucked up it is, that ends with a fat burger can be bad. This picture you guys are seeing doesn't do it. I have large sleeve sack hands, so that tells you how this is a double.
Well, and no day that ends without scary movie is also not a good day. So as you can see from your name,
you got a reprieve, buddy. The executioner is coming on Saturday instead of Friday, so we're still gonna have so much fun with you guys. But sorry guys, I had to move it. Yeah.
Are we doing scary movie tomorrow in lieu of Man of Steel?
No, we are doing Man of Steel at 2. And I didn't have a chance to make the thumbnail, but we are doing Man of Steel at 2 and then Scary Movie at 5. I originally said 3, but I realized I'm like, I haven't even made the thumbnail for Man of Steel, and that's actually worth some. They're both going to be charity streams though, so basically we're going to have about 4 hours of hopefully getting us to $8,000. Man, where are we at right now?
Yeah, let me check that.
Because I really want to. I really enjoy raising money for this cause. To be honest with you,
we are at 7270.
So we're still at 7270. So I'm figuring tomorrow with those two movies, one really good one and one really awful one. We should get real close to 8,000 tomorrow. I'm hoping at least 7,500. That's only $220. So So.
Yeah. Of course, had to save the worst movie for the last, of course.
We're going to try to get it out of the way today, but I just had shit going on. All right, let's hit the chat because it's open topic. So there we go.
Yeah. Of course, we're just waiting on Nickatina. I was actually going to ask about him recently because we hadn't streamed together in a few weeks.
Well, I figured he was in rehab after his 49ers got beat again in the Super Bowl. So I wasn't expecting him to reach out to me like he did, and he did. And I'm like, hey, what's up, Nickatina? I was messing with him. I had all kinds of Taylor Swift shit for him. So.
I know. Yeah, just a minute here.
Go ahead, William. William did hear Cameron is writing another Terminator film that is a reboot. How many reboots are they going to do? I heard he wasn't. I heard he was going to write something, but he wanted to wait because he wanted to craft a story about artificial intelligence. I hadn't heard anything about him doing a reboot. I mean, it's technically, if you were going to do a reboot with any franchise, you've already told the John Connor story. I don't want to see John Connor again. The only time I want to see John Connor again is if I ever win Megabucks and I resuscitate the Sarah Connor Chronicle show, then I want that story finished. But as far as cinematically, I never want to see. There's no other stories to tell with him. They even told with that last one where they killed him. They even admitted they were out of stories to tell him and John. There's only so many times you can come back and save him and all that. So So if he were to redo it, I don't know if it will be a reboot, but maybe just take a different branch of the tree. I mean, maybe, you know. And it's
No.
James Cameron. I forgive him for selling out, you know, being a rom-com guy and little bloopy.
Well, fourth is, I think, Withy Hair. It's like William is late and Terminator is dead. Bury it.
Yeah, give it some time away, and then come back with something that's not John Connor and Sarah Connor. I mean, just that's like I ask you that.
So. What's the point of Dark Fate if they reboot? Anyways, you know, it's its own dark fate of failure.
Like I said, it's just tied to if you're going to do the Terminator story, and like I said, James Cameron is right. It is more relevant now than it's ever been with all the people, you know, losing their shit over AI. But I need a different story. I need a different view of it. I don't ever need to see Arnold again. I don't need to see the characters John Connor and Sarah Connor again. You know, and AI is really, we're at a closer point to where, you know, where we can remember Skynet was programming. It wasn't hardware like they thought. So
yeah, that's what they established in T3. You know, the
software. 3, which I don't care what anybody says, is a very relevant sequel because of the fact that Force shut the hell up because I can feel it coming at me. I don't care. They were telling a story of linear time, and if you're going to tell a story of linear time, you had to do that. So, hey, Aaron, is Aaron in there? Is my favorite Aussie in there?
Yeah, she's where is she? Yeah, she's right here. How's it going,
Aaron? Do you have yes, Happy Wrestling? Do you have your Peacock, or do you need to? Because I don't mind. I'll setting it up. If it's just going to be us, I'll just set it up for a watch along. I'll put a public watch along. I ain't going to put it out there, but I will. I don't know if you can set up Twitch. I don't know if you have it already, and if you know if you want to watch along. I'm going to be watching it. So if I'm going to be up 2 a.m. in the morning, actually the pre-show starts in an hour. I cannot believe I am this addicted to this shit. Aaron, you're okay because you live in Australia local time. I don't, and I just watched the other night. This morning, I watched New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, some good matches too. And like I said, they saved the good shit for the last. So 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, here I am, you know, dozing off. Hi.
How's it going, Ruth?
Hi, Ruth.
And
how you doing? I don't know if yeah, I was just on the vodka stream with Ray for a little bit. I had to bolt real quick because my internet was just not doing it for me. When you see everybody else starting to spin, you know it's you, and I'm like, fuck this. So I had to go, and then I had to get here too. But hi, Ray, how you doing?
Let's see who else. Ray else. This is burger time.
Yes, it is. And it's really big too, and they did it right because you know what? It's not just making a big burger is not enough. You have to make it to where it's balanced. See how balanced that is, because it's balanced. See how the bun is just sits there. It doesn't slide off. It's not all soggy and shit. Look how they stacked it. All right, a lot of these guys, they get the patties and they just, you know what, I just want to go home, whatever, you know, and they just slap the shit on there. He's like, you know what, I got the right ingredients. What else do you want from me? Type of attitude. Whoever did this burger, they stacked it perfectly. They set up one patty on top of the other. There's no overlapping here. Right?
You made RJ hungry.
Yeah, I forgot to tell him no lettuce because usually Fat Burger will go overboard with the lettuce. But okay, I didn't have to look because not only did they not overdo it with the lettuce, they layered the lettuce. It's almost like this person was building a sculpture. He was like, you know, back in the Roman days where he was building a sculpture that he probably sat on a table and walked around it and said, you know, looked at it at different angles and like, how can I make this the best burger that's gonna, you know. Why is it fair that this is going to be eaten? This piece of art this guy made. I gave him a compliment too. It's beautiful and it's huge. It's huge. Okay.
Ray asks, how does fund dispersal work for charity? Is it paid out regularly or every goal is reached?
Right now, I don't know. I know since it's Tiltify is part of them that they can take it at any point. I think that they're going to wait until I end. Once I end the exercise, that's when they get it. I think, okay. But right now, it's part of their organization. I think it's because it's the one that you get on their website. But I think they just rather would not do it until the campaign is actually ended by us, so that way there's no confusion. So once we hit 8 and we give it to them, I'm still going to keep that. I'm still going to keep that number up there. You know what I mean? That'll still be our unofficial number, even though we will have given them the money. We still would have raised $10,000. So that's a badge I'm going to carry.
Aaron's talking about the Peacock here. I don't know if Peacock wanted to watch this type of wrestling shows through some websites. If you want to run it through Twitch, that'd be awesome, Liam.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll do that. Anybody else who wants to join me? Like I said, this is ill-advised. I really need to go see.
I wouldn't be surprised if RJ jumps in. I forgot Elimination Chamber is a couple hours. Ridiculous starting time, damn time zones.
Yeah, this is gonna. Dude, that means it's not gonna be over till like 6 a.m. in the morning.
Oh God, Clint.
Oh yeah, that's the guy who made all this possible. So I'm hoping they do. I don't even know the order of the Elimination Chamber matches. And it's gonna be what? What are they? Is it 3 hours or 4 hours for the Elimination Chamber, Aaron? I forgot. I know if it's Tony Khan likes to do 5-hour pay-per-views, and that shit ain't gonna happen today. All right, next one. Are you typing?
Yeah.
I'm way behind in the chat. Let's see.
Yeah, that's my new name there, right here.
Scary movies, a rectal exam of comedy. Wow, dude! While I'm eating, we have to bring up rectums.
Okay.
By the way, guys, I did another interview. My burgers are medium rare. Just meat fresh off the bone. Oh my goodness, you sound like a cannibal. That sounds vicious, right? That sound like Ruth speak.
Well, speaking of Ruth, she had a and you talk about the interviews. William, has there been a release date for Poop on Honey 2? Them, it's not that I'm aware of.
Not that has been revealed yet. It is going to be revealed by the director, Reese Rakes, and it is going to be revealed by probably between him and Phantom Event. I talked to the director last night or yesterday. I don't know. Did anybody? Hopefully, you guys got a chance to watch that. Hold on, if you didn't, I'm going to put it in the chat because I'm pretty proud of them interviews. And I got one today too. I have one more. I actually have 3 more of them. And then I got the Cinderella girl who's going to be on. She's making a whole movie about Cinderella, so she is going to. She wants to be interviewed. So I'm like, cool. I mean, I got people seeking me out. So there's the Scott Jeffries interview. He's the actual producer. He's the guy who got this going. And like I said, I asked him point blank whether if he could give me a date. He couldn't yet. So, but apparently it's going to be another Fathom event, like another 1 or 2 day event. And I will be there for it, because like I said, and not only am I going to be there, I'm going to make sure everybody who loves these type of movies is there. What the hell is that?
What's that, man?
It's new sounds from the new phone.
Clint's asking me, Brad, are you okay? How many rectal exams have you had to equate them with Scary Movie? Well, I mean,
see it. And you open the door for rectal exam, and there's certain people in the chat room.
Well, of course, I changed my name again, so that's there you go.
What does it say again? Yeah. Oh, geez. You guys, I'm eating. I'm going to eat.
Okay, I'll change it one more time.
That's nasty. I saw somebody ask me if I was going to watch Elimination Chamber. Oh, yeah. Don't know if I'm going to finish it, though. All right. See, Brad's like typing like Scary Movie is dumb, stupid, and more dumb. Okay. What does the Pooh and Honey one say?
What was it second?
What did the poo? You had one. What did the one before?
I said it was dog poo mixed with puke.
Okay. All right, Nickatina. So I know
we do a watch party for WrestleMania and SummerSlam.
Yeah. I'll do one for. I definitely probably gonna do one for WrestleMania for sure. I might do a full-on actual party in the courtyard for that one. But WrestleMania, even if, like I said, the year of WWE isn't that great. WrestleMania is usually something I get hyped up no matter what. This year, I'm definitely getting hyped up for it because, like I said, somehow, some way, The Rock's going to be involved, and they've made it interesting now. I didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown today because I was dealing with customers, but I'll watch the highlights. I got it on DVR somewhere. But yeah, tonight, like I said, this is an impromptu one. Wow, it wasn't 2:00 in the morning.
Fourth has a good one here about where is it? Where'd I go? Oh, there it is. It does look like a good burger, doesn't it? A very good burger. Okay.
I mean, like I said, I can smell it right over here. I don't think I smell good burgers till here we go. See, this
It's
is
very
your all
responsible. They find the rate up there.
Hardanian, one of the two.
Well, John Wick, yeah, ties into that. Dorton and RJ, you should join William in the watch along.
Yeah, keep me awoke. By the way, I was rewatching the John Wick stuff. I had him on the other day, just to have him on. When I was late after hours though, because they can't have that shit playing in the middle of the day. Those movies was reminded just how brutally up close and violent those movies are.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you see them in a movie, it's one thing. When you watch them again and you like slow it down in your head, those movies are just outright.
Hey,
what's going on, Andre? Long time no see.
What's up? Sorry, I'm a little late. My kids woke up and I had to go deal with that for a few minutes. I was like, oh, great, here we go. Yeah, well, one of them woke up and came out and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So I had to take them back in the room and come on,
your kids are in their 20s, aren't they? What are they?
My kids? No, I hope not. No, my kids are like 8 and 6.
Oh, okay. You're an old dude, had old grown-up kids. So, what's going on, Nickatina?
What's up, you guys?
I see you recovered from the Super Bowl incident.
Oh yeah. Well, only one team can win, so it is what it is.
Your team, to make you feel better, your team was never going to. I just wanted to let you know right now that you're never going to win that game.
I would say that they should have won that game. The way the game played out, the Niners should have won that game, but they didn't take advantage of the mistakes that were handed to them. That's my take on it. But, it is what it is.
Because I know I was expecting you to go under, and be like gone for like 3, 6, 7 months or something like that. I had all the Taylor Swift stuff, like her spiking the little meme with her spiking the ball. But I figured, I don't want you to go postal. I don't want you to snap. So I was all right.
I appreciate it. I really do. In fact, even on my sports channel, we're actually going to do a stream on Sunday. It's the first time we've done one since the game. But at the same time, my brother, his daughter had a baby as well during that time. So, we all got, kind of busy. So it is what it is. But, dude, what a week for movie news. I mean, all kinds of news about, Spider-Man 4. There's news about DC. It's crazy, man. I don't know. Yeah. What do you guys think about
Spider-Man 4? Should have happened 3 years ago.
I think it's also crazy that I have to cap it off a scary movie by the end of it.
Hey man, we're good cause. Keep telling yourself we're not just watching this because we think this movie has any merit. We're doing it because somebody donated, and hopefully tomorrow. I will watch all these silly ass movies if we get to $8,000 tomorrow. I said, I promise, I'm on record. Get to $8,000, and now that puts us less than $2,000 away with 2 months to go. I think we can make it.
I'll watch. That's amazing, dude. $8,000. I mean, that's insane, man. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, and of course I have with my tinfoil thinking, I do. Of course, Zack Snyder, of course, gave us the Twitter shout outs. That was obviously very helpful in getting to that goal.
And probably forgot about this though. Let's be honest.
well, no, William met him though, so but
I know that was amazing too. I saw those images on X, of William meeting Zack Snyder. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like how did that happen?
We did the people who we promote movies to. There was like a thank you from them, and they said take you and 19 of your buddies and go to this high-end event that, like I said, usually the bouncer is making sure that I don't get in type of event. But my name was on the list this time, and like I said, it was about three features that they had. It was The Last Airbender, Rebel Moon, and Three Body Problem, and they had all the people there. They had the main crew from Avatar was there.
Oh wow!
They had Zack Snyder and Sophia Boutella was there, and then they had Benoit and Weiss from Game of Thrones, but they're now a Three Body Project. They had them there, and some other dude. And then like I said, they had wine and cocktails and shit. I don't drink. See, now I got a new phone. It's like new shit. Okay, it's a motion detector.
Is that Zack Snyder? Is he there?
Yeah, I hardly think he has my number, but
He's like, hey, can I come inside?
But but like I said, prime rib, little itty bitty sliders, man. I ate 3 or 4 of those. But yeah, it was like I said, we looked around. It was, as much wine and shit as you wanted to.
Wow, man, that's awesome.
About an hour. Yeah, I was at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, and like I said, we knew he was going to be there.
Phil.
Of course. But yeah, it was cool. Like I said, he was very approachable because it was a high security event, so you didn't have to worry about like cordoning him off or something. You just walk right up to him. Once I found him, because I didn't realize he was a little shorter than I'm thinking he's like 6 foot or something. I didn't realize because Bradley and Austin were with me, and they saw him first, and so I went back downstairs. I'm like, I don't see him. What do you mean? Now I'm starting to get pissed. I'm like, you two bums! I got you in. You can't even lead me to him. He's like, he's down there, right in the corner. And then you go see him, about 5'7", 5'8". Walked up to him, started talking.
You lied.
For all the pictures of Zach, on social media where he's working out, just
all ripped up,
crazy. But he could have, whatever hurts, like he could still probably you could probably miss him in a crowd because he's not that tall.
Right in, he blended right, and he was just standing there in the corner by himself, waiting. I walked up to him and said, "Hey man, what's up?" And then afterwards we all had balls. Every table had in fact they had like 30 extra ones. I took as many as I could, but he signed the football there and drew Wonder Woman there. So I'll put this
and all this means right now, I'm the only person on the stream who has neither met Zach in person nor been on a stream with him ever.
Have you met? You met? Oh, you went to Full Circle.
I went to Full Circle, but I got to talk to him on a stream one time, and that was really cool.
Okay,
I actually, like I said, I got the invite to go backstage and talk to him during Man of Steel, but I didn't. I wasn't going to the Man of Steel day 1. I only went to day 3, so I didn't go to that. That was a nightmare. That I was like, man, I can't believe I missed on that.
Yeah, if I had if I had been able to go myself, just because of the significant, if they told me it's like you can only pick one day, I mean, obviously you want to go for all 3 if that's all possible.
Yeah.
But if they had told me, you can only pick one, I probably would have gone with the ZSJL just because of the history.
Oh yeah, because I was like, well, and what made it hard too was that was a weekend that like a bunch of employees at my work had time off during that weekend, so I had to like force it to happen. And then I also had my niece's wedding that same weekend, which I was like, oh my god, like the odds are like stacked against me to get down to this thing. So, but I was able to make it to ZSJL, which was amazing to see in the IMAX. My god, that was like
well. And on that note, maybe, of course, we got this new rumor circulating that might actually be a more widespread opportunity coming up for people with this. Sure.
That's the thing too.
I still got to hear it from, I mean, I'm not knocking the sources who came up with it, but I just got to hear. I got to hear multiples. You know what I mean? And before
I've only seen the one tweet. It was
which is why it's still best to treat it as rumor for the time being, and speculation for the time being. But again, it's obviously that of course went viral, and everybody's speculating like crazy. Okay, because the rumor is they're considering an IMAX run for it, and also considering putting Justice is Gray on physical media. So everybody's just like, oh,
that I do believe because that's
that's kind of surprising me that they haven't done that, or they didn't like package it with the color version of the movie.
Yeah,
as a way of making more money, I think they should do that. But it wouldn't surprise me if they, if this is all bullshit, because I mean, I could see, James Gunn or not even James Gunn, just the new regime saying, well, let's not put this out there because we don't want to rehash any of this talk about Snyder's, DC universe. We just want to focus on our new DC universe under Gunn and Saffron. But I mean, it makes sense to release it.
The making money should trump that though, because
it
like
should.
I said,
it absolutely should. But I mean, if that's the case, it would trump a lot more than that. You know what I mean? It's like
I think they're making a massive. Well, first of all, Zaslav's not going to be there for when if this mistake runs out anyway, because I think he'll be gone before Legacy even.
Yeah, he's out there, especially with this sale or this merger. Probably the writing's pretty much on the wall for that. Yeah, that guy's cash is check is splitting.
But that whole confusion shit, that ain't James Gunn. That's a corporate dummy right there. That's somebody who's really fucking educated, but not smart in the realm that he wishes to step in. That's because, like I said, there's no financials. That makes no sense. Because you're assuming, like I said, the assumption is that because you eliminate or don't do this, then that means I'm going to go watch your thing. I mean, half the people across the board are not going to go see Superman Legacy. And I'm not talking about the internet trolls. Half the people in general are just not going to go see this movie. So you're gonna focus on the half that are, which is what you should always do. But you shouldn't just assume that, that, like I said, I don't know any retail management where you don't fail by eliminating options. You eliminate options, you eliminate customers.
Right.
Because they're just going somewhere else. They'll be like, oh, okay, well, I don't think I like the what's the dude with the fucked up haircut? With it looks like a Green Lantern, but not the one okay, all right, cool. And they won't say anything. They won't be online. They won't be like, fuck you, but they'll be like, no. And that's what all moviegoers do. But when you're DC, you are uniquely positioned not to be that way.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is the mistake of Crisis is you are the one entity out of all these entities out here that can tell stories in different ways and still maintain an audience. You can't say that about the MCU because the majority of their tenure, even if you include the Fox, the better part of the last 20 years has been the MCU. So you've had one dominant way of telling that story. So I can see there, but you have generations. So like I said, greed often ignites common sense, but I don't think this guy cared. I think this guy's more and more. It's you're seeing him position himself for someone else to come over and either merge with this company or buy it. And that's why right now, even this whole DCU, like I said before, is going to be, this is how I'm going to approach it because, dude. I don't want to get into another movie that this is fucking awesome. Now, I don't listen. Given the character that he's using, there's probably a better than good chance I'm not going to like this movie. I'm not going to shit on it. If you guys love it, I'm not going to be on it. No, I just don't like
JLI.
I don't like the JLI references, and I don't like those characters. But that's fine. But what if it was something I did like? I just don't trust you, man. I just you want me? What if you get into this movie? And then now I start getting scenes and stuff from Paradise Lost and all this other stuff. I'm like, I start getting that feeling again. I start forgetting about, how everything is going. And then all of a sudden there's a new guy that comes in and says, you know what? Wow, I'm really excited about this new vision. Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
What the fuck you just said? Because every new guy always thinks he can do better than the last guy. That's why they're alphas. And if there's a new guy coming down the road and it looks like there's more, they don't even have to make a noise when it comes to James Gunn. They just need to let it. If they don't like it, or they don't even have to not like it. They just have to love their vision more than they love anyone else's. And all you got to do is let his contract expire. And then here I am now, getting excited, showing me Spartacus, blood and sand type of Wonder Woman action. And oh, by the way, it's been delayed, so we're rethinking these things. And I'm like, all you have to do, if you don't think that can happen, go look at the mouse. Look what the mouse is going through. All these changes that Feige's making now is because when Chapek came in, he basically was his boss. And when you have a new boss, they rearrange the furniture to look like they wanted to look. So that's just,
they needed to kind of reshuffle what they were doing over in MCU, and I'm glad they're doing that, and I think they're making the necessary changes for the better. But we'll see how they actually turn out when we get the finished product. But yeah, I mean, like I've said before, it's like when it comes to Superman Legacy, it's like I'm not gonna pass any judgment on Legacy until I actually see the movie. Everyone's very quick to bash anything that's Superman Legacy on Twitter, which is fairly normal for the most part. It's kind of par for the course. But for me, it's like, look, I'm still going to wait and see the finished product before I completely bash it or say it's dumb or say it's gonna fail. I have to see the finished product. Now, if Superman Legacy comes out and it's not a good movie, it has a lot of problems, it doesn't do well at the box office, and that's a whole different story. But if it comes out, it's a success, and then the movie's good, then we go from there, and then hopefully it continues to be good moving forward. But like I said, until I see it, I'm not going to sit here and just bash the project that people are actually working on at the moment. So,
well, the other thing about it with me too is, of course, because I've made comparisons to the Batman, which of course that began as Ben Affleck's the Batman and became Matt Reeves the Batman. And I've said in the past, it's like I've really the circumstances behind that's what really kind of held me back for the longest time getting excited for the Batman. I finally was able to move past that once we got around the first DC fandom when it looked like they were saying, okay, now we're just embracing everything. And then I really the trailer was awesome. I played that. The just the one gif of him just beating the hell out of that. I probably played that like 2,000 times before the movie came out. I was ready for it. And of course, then we had the Ant Sarnoff thing right after the movie came out, and then I had to go back to compartmentalizing the whole thing, which all things considered, I think I did pretty well by the time the Batman came out, and the Batman was was very good. And so
if I thought that this was going if I had any faith that I was actually going to get a universe this time, I might feel a lot better. But I have zero faith that we're going to get a fleshed out universe, regardless of how good these movies are, and it's not going to have anything to do with
it. We just got a super chat.
This is actually a second one. Yeah, so this is a super sticker from Jason McKenzie. What's up, Jason?
That's from you, right? Or is that
that's from me? Yeah, that's from me. Yeah.
No, I'm not even modified yet.
He has another one before that too. I don't know if you saw that one.
Make sure that gets over to our bank. But no,
what's up, Ray? What's going on?
If I thought there were, because here's the thing, I'm a universe guy. The U in DCU is universe. You're selling me a universe, so I'm not the one movie at a time guy. If you're selling me a universe, that's what I'm buying into. That's what I want. But like I said, if I get a new boss, it's not going to matter. You could listen. These guys, these alphas, they're all about what their vision is. They're all about their vision is. Superman Legacy could be literally the Godfather Part 2, and it's not going to make a damn difference if there are new bosses. And you like I said, you think, well, they're not going to do it if it's going well. They're not going to give a fuck. It's their house now. The people who take over the new house tend not to care about who else is living there. They evict those guys. And like I said, if some guy comes in and he spent all this money and he, like Zazoff, has put his legacy on the line, this is his thing, then you best be sure. It's just like the NFL. When you get new coaching and new ownership, they want their guys in there. And it doesn't matter. I've seen teams that had winning records relieve guys or not renew contracts because the new guy wanted their guy in because it's his ass on the line. So I have right now, what is it, 224? 24, actually 24, a lot of 24s. Right now, until I see otherwise, I have zero faith that this is going to run its course.
Well,
for reasons nothing to do with James Gunn, unfortunately.
Well, and the thing about it is too, with like the talk of another merger heating up. I mean, it's really, again, I have no inside information on this. I have no hard evidence of this, but it's really leading me to suspect that this was really Zaslav's end game all along. That it really that he was.
Well, he's flipping it.
Well, yeah. Regardless of, I'm saying like he wasn't even like, I don't think he was even necessarily that invested in the future of DC Studios. I think the goal all along was was pretty up Warner Brothers after years of dysfunction, sell it off, merge it with another company, and then he retires at that point.
Yeah, and I think that James Gunn thing came from because that's the name he knew. That was a name that was, as a layman, which is what he is. That was a name that he knew that was available, and that's when because remember he offered this job to other people, and it just didn't go.
And he there was just another comment that another soundbite he gave where he talked about, like, I've read the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow script and it's fantastic. Like, you have not read that script.
Yeah, just like I'm bringing theaters back. I'm bringing cinema back. Yeah, just like that. And like I said, and then he came out with those bogus numbers today. We're 123 miles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Like I was telling Film Junkie, till you look at how he did it, then you're like, wow, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you about that because it was like, it makes for a pretty headline, but then of course you read the hard details and it's like,
And if you've been following, obviously we've been following this guy since day one, so we're a little bit more keen to what he's been doing. Yeah, you can make a profit if you cut to the bone some things and you rearrange some things. Now, some of the things he's doing is fine. I'm okay with how he did it is fraud, but don't go up there and say, this vision is working. No, you hoard most of your stuff out to other streamers, you cut some stuff in general and took some liability, which is fine.
Tax righted.
You took a tax write off, which you should have done with the direction you inherited. That's fine, but on one hand, you came out here to Sim Vegas and you told me that that the theatrical is the key and all this, and I'm like, and that was bullshit as it came out of your mouth. But now you're a streaming guy because you made 123 million profits. You only, like I said, because you cut away so much, then that I'd like to see those revenues once some of that stuff doesn't come back. I mean, then he's going to have some issues. But like I said, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Yeah, his stock's under $10, which is absolutely
yeah. I actually read something floating around about that earlier today, where it's like their stock has dipped something. Warner Brothers stock has dipped
60%.
something like 47% since this time last year.
Oh, I saw it 60. Okay, either way, anything above 30. Anything above 30 in that amount of time usually gets people either fired or because stockholders start giving no votes of confidence and things like that. That's why, but I don't think that's the purpose. The purpose here is to get it a nice, sleek company with a bunch of top-heavy talent, like Tom Cruise and all that, to where it's attractive for somebody like an Amazon, an Apple, or a Microsoft to just buy it. And it would be one of those three companies. No other company is going to do it. I don't believe in Universal, and I don't believe in anyone else. The reason why is because each of those companies, even if it was Disney, nobody's going to want to take that debt sheet. It's going to bring their stock down. There's those three companies I just mentioned. That's not that $29 billion. They can fart that away. It wouldn't matter. But if it's one of those guys, you look at the people who run those companies. Look at the egomaniacs that run those companies. And they all grew up with Superman. They all grew up with Batman. You think that they're not going to come in and say, "This is going to be cool." Here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
James Gunn over here already thinking some shit. Yeah, and like I said, I'm just,
and that's the ironic part is that Zaslav, I think, clearly didn't grow up with Superman or Batman.
He knows what they are, and he knows who James Gunn is. I mean, like I said, he could probably name like a lot of the top directors, and he could probably find Coen. I mean, he could probably find some people, but he doesn't really know anything about it. But like I said, and that's the only thing. And I hope that's not the case. I really, because that's a lot of time. That's a lot of just wasted time. You're James Gunn. You're going to be 60 by the time this gets going.
Yeah,
you really want to, people see a guy blow his wad and have nothing to show for it. It's kind of sucks.
Yeah, I was thinking
it's crazy, dude. It really is. And real quick, I just want to say a big shout out to Jason McKenzie, who's basically making it rain over on my channel. Thank you so much, Jason.
Look like the hood.
Thank you so much. You rock, dude. You are the man. Yeah. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. But when it comes to David Zaslav, I mean, did you guys see that those clips from when he had that speech at the college at Boston University? Everyone was like, everyone's calling him a piece of shit and all this crap.
When he was like that commencement speech, I think it was.
Yeah. That was hilarious, but at the same time, it was so crude. Because they were just like going after him. I was like, "Holy crap, dude!"
He was like, "I don't care."
Yeah,
he's like,
it bothered him though. You can tell because he was like, "Hey, let's be respectful." It's kind of like okay, it was getting under his skin.
Yeah, he couldn't fire those people. That's why he bothered him. But like I said, he's going to go off in his golden parachute. And like I said, it's not going to be. I never thought it was going to be David Zaslav that was going to reroute anything. It's going to be his predecessor. It's going to be that young guy. It's going to be that 55 and below guy.
See, the weird
that comes in.
Well, the thing about it, because thinking about like what I just said about how I think the whole setting up DC Studios and doing what he's done with Warner Brothers was ultimately a to the end of setting up another merger or another sale. It got me thinking a little bit about that earlier today, and I was wondering, if I were Gunn and all this, I'm kind of wondering if he's starting to feel a little bit used by Zaslav for all that.
I mean, it could be, I wouldn't doubt it, but I mean,
he still has to take the shot, though. He still has to take. Yeah, I can see who he might be. He might feel that way, but at the same time, it's still an opportunity. He can't control.
Well, yeah, no, it definitely is, and I think he's done a good job at kind of ignoring that and just kind of staying focused on what projects are lying ahead, mainly Superman Legacy. But I mean, is David Zaslav going to be the guy who's going to be there for longevity? Probably not. He's trying to get that place. He's trying to get that place set up so that somebody can come in and either merge with them or buy them out or whatever. But and this is something that I brought up earlier today was that it's funny because I mean you had people out there in the past saying Zaslav's going to restore the Snyderverse, Zaslav has chosen the Snyderverse, or Zaslav's going to fix everything, and it goes to show you that like Zaslav was never going to do that. As much as I would have loved for him to do that, he was never going to do that. All he wanted to do was get in there, find someone to take over, find someone to helm DC Studios, and then focus on rebuilding the brand and getting that brand to a point where it can either be sold off or merge with somebody else. I mean, that's what was really going on.
And again, that's where I go back to thinking like his gun's starting to feel like a little bit of a tool in all of this.
Well, Gunn could have known that outright. Listen, Gunn could have come in, and Zaslav could have come in and probably told the truth for the first time, and since he's been around, and said, you know what, I'm just basically flipping this, and I'm using you to do it. If I'm James Gunn, I still say okay.
Right.
I mean, it's just an opportunity like that, and then you can't control what you can control, and like I said, Zaslav is. I will never choose his predecessors over him. So even though, and as far as him restoring, listen, you got the extremists out there that are, and unfortunately, they're doing their thing this weekend on both sides. But I got to the point where I don't want James Gunn anywhere near any of that without supervision.
Without Zack Snyder's versions of the characters.
I don't. Any more than I want Zack Snyder or any other director near whatever he's going to do. That's their thing, and that's the thing is that that's their thing, and that yes, the company fucked up, and they paid for it in blood and credibility. Much of the reason why now why people don't take Warner Brothers seriously right now, and why you got sub-loads is because of a lot of these things. So, but at the same time, I am going to advocate, and from now on, I'm going to have it scrolling. I'll be ready for tomorrow. Just make the damn comic book. Right, make the Zack Snyder Justice League comic book.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. I mean, obviously, look, when I heard them talking about doing the whole Deathstroke comic, I got excited for for that idea. I was like, good, I want to see that. Put it in a graphic novel. I would love to see it. Jesus, look at that!
Burger's like the size of my head, man.
Okay, so this person, I need to find out. He's on my receipt. I'm going to give him all the praise in the world. This person put the egg and mixed it with the cheese so that one didn't slide. So that's when I was telling you about the balance of this burger.
Where did you get that from?
Fat burger. And I almost don't want to eat
Fat burger.
No, not Super Kim's.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
I'm getting super stickers and you're getting fat burgers from your fans.
You're getting cash, man. You're getting cash. I'm not.
I don't know.
That
burger looks pretty good. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, comic book stuff. You were saying.
Well, yeah. So I mean, but no, there was a talk about how Jim Lee wants to do the whole Deathstroke graphic novel, and I think that's great. And I think that's something that will draw more attention and make money for DC Comics. So I think that's a great idea. And now, would it be profitable for them to do that for, Zack's Justice League sequels? Absolutely. Ben Affleck's Batman script? Absolutely. Now, here's the problem, though, is that if they did that to Ben Affleck's Batman script, there's a good chance that, Matt Reeves' script may have cherry-picked some of the aspects of his script, because, I mean, he was on that project to begin with, so it's kind of like, it wouldn't surprise me if he had that script available, when they were going over, making their story. Either way, though, I think the Ben Affleck Batman and the Justice League sequels, and that would be a huge hit on the comic. And I thought about William. I was like, man, if they do that, think about the what is it? The pre-orders.
The pre-orders, the variant covers, the second printings that are worth more than the first printings.
Well, here's the thing. Because when I saw that, when I saw Joe's comment about that, because of course he gave some context about why it hasn't moved forward. Well, he gave as much context as he could. I think we still all are kind of wondering. It's like why because it would seem like that's Jim Lee's really call to make as far as like reaching out to these people and doing that, and that has not moved forward. So kind of a mystery about why anything to that end about adapting these in comic book form hasn't happened yet. But part of it was that Joe, in his comment, he said I was not given, or I couldn't get the assurance that if this really took off, then and directors, producers saw it and they wanted to actually put it on camera, that I wouldn't be able to assume that. So, but just
problem
again,
is that was previous. Those clowns are gone. And two, if you make this, it doesn't. Listen, I love the cinema. I love going to the movies. They're comic book characters. They're comic book characters. Why are we? It's not like I'm going into Oppenheimer and say, you know what? Let me figure out a different way to make this shit explode. No. I'm saying
no pun intended.
Characters. These are comic book characters. Their story. You wouldn't have any of this shit if it wasn't for these comic books.
But again, it just all goes back to the question. It's like, so why have they not done this yet? If there have been, Zack Snyder has also kind of alluded to, comic book possibilities being discussed in the past, but those haven't moved forward.
Okay, yeah. If they do this, it will not be expensive at all. It's very doable, but it will involve a measure of time, and both of those guys are busy. Jim Lee is probably one of the busiest men in the world right now, just trying to get shit beyond Batman to sell. That's what Jim Lee's main thing right now. Jim Lee is basically trying to put life support on a comic book company that they pretty much left for dead. So, but it's going to take some people taking some time away from what they're doing, because just like when Crisis came around, those guys left their normal books. Mm-hmm. They left their normal books. They left their normal jobs. They spent a year on that. So it's going, because you want it to be that way. I just think it's a massive undertaking, but it needs to happen, because first of all, 12 issues, variants up the ass. I mean, just print the hell out of them. All right, get toy lines, a whole thing associated. And it doesn't matter what kind of story you tell in this comic, because it's an Elseworlds anyway. It's a one shot. Doesn't matter. It doesn't connect to anything unless you want it to as a chairman somewhere down the line, like Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come wasn't connected to anything until they wanted it to be. So it just sits there on its own. And then not only that, you have all the time in the world to tell this story. There's no scene, there's no budget, there's nothing. It's staples and paper. It's cheaper than shit to make. The markup on comics, and why they fuck us over, is a mystery. But the markup on comics and graphic novels is great. So you get your 12 and you put it into the chapters, and if you want to do an offshoot, just like when we did Infinity Crisis or things like that, where we didn't just have the mainline story, we had those offshoots that were just as good. So now we have your Ben Affleck Batman going on the side. Now we have anything you want to pay more attention to. You actually have Scary Movie is not part of. Oh, jeez.
I had variants up the ass there a minute ago.
But yeah, you do something like that, and then you just start. You just let it sit there, and whatever happens once it's done. If you want to look at the numbers and be like, this is something viable, that's fine. But anybody who wants to see the end of the story is fighting with both hands behind their back, because they have no story to fight for. You have a theory of how this is going to end. You have something that's not even out there. You put that comic book out there, all those speculator buyers are buying it. Coming to the store, buying stuff, and then the variants, and then the virgin covers. There's so many ways. There's 10 different ways to make $1 for each comic.
And see, the other thing about it too that I don't think gets talked about as much is, of course, we have the whiteboards out there for the JL sequels, but Zach has also stated at various points that, if he were to make those today, it would not. There have been subsequent modifications behind the scenes, so there is some degree of difference. I mean, I think I'm at a Film Junkie stream where he had said, when you read those whiteboards, like, in terms of like what he would do now, like look at it in terms of the broad strokes, but not the, necessarily the individual details. So, that does.
But you have time. You have all the time in the world. You have there's nobody telling you, oh, that's going to be too expensive. There's nobody telling you, oh, we can't pay for that. It's staples and paper. Tell the story that you want. Add shit to it if you want to. Now I can have an entire 2 or 3 issues dedicated to the Robin who gets killed, and Harley Quinn and her issues, and all the stuff that we wouldn't be able. We have 12 issues. Like, it needs to be 12.
Do you think that if they actually end up doing this, that they would use, because this is also, I think, very pertinent to it, as far as like the pitch of the characters, would they use the likeness of Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, all everybody portraying the characters?
To some extent, yeah, but not fully, because the reason I wouldn't, and I don't think they will, is because each artist has a distinctive take on those characters, and part of the advantage of doing this is what you would get that you would do the covers maybe like that, but and there's some artists may do it, but for the most part, if you got like a Mike Diodato or you got a Todd McFarlane, they're going to draw Superman like their Superman. Alex Ross is going to draw Superman like he generally, but he can also draw Cavill. So, I mean, there's a lot. It depends on the artist. It's going to be up, and I'm pretty sure Jim Lee, if he did it, would leave it up to, because Jim Lee is going to do his own version of Superman.
And that's again, that's a reason. That's why I brought that question up, because because they have, of course, I mean, like Nick Fury and Ultimate Marvel, that's the likeness of Sam Jackson.
Samuel Jackson.
And of course, when they do that, they do have to get the approval of whoever they're using the likeness of. So is that maybe also like a potential kind of sticky point right now for why this is not moved forward in comic form?
Not necessarily. It's either a minor negotiation or the likenesses of, because they already, a lot of them sold those likenesses when they did action figures and hot toy figures. So you sold that to them, or that was part of the contract. But even still, okay, that's an easy workaround. It doesn't have to look like Cavill to be the one I'm talking about, because like I said, when that cover I have at the store, that's all of them. That's all of them, and I'm pretty sure they found a way to do those variant covers with them. So I don't think that would be probably the smallest issue.
And whoever did the, I think actually, I think it was a South Cali guy. Because he was able to.
He found the guy who did that.
Yeah, he found the guy who did the poster that the rumor about the ZSGL IMAX show came from. It's like that looks like
that cover real poster. One of them right there.
That looks phenomenal. I mean, it looks like legit in the Nightmare timeline. I mean, the dark side.
I mean, he can easily launch a campaign too to raise money for AFSP, saying, "Hey, submit your comic covers for." The JL sequels, and we'll pick 5 different ones or 4 different ones for each issue. You know, I mean, the possibilities are endless. But I think that it's like I hear what Austin's saying, that he thinks that an animation would do better than comics. But I think at this point it's kind of like, look, these are just the small steps you got to take to just get the story out there, because it's the story that I really want to read about and see, is to see where it was going to go and what was going to happen.
You made a motion comic out of it.
Yeah, I know, and I know that he has a different version of it now, and I would love to see that version. It's we saw that concept art a couple weeks ago of from Jared Morantz about showing Hal Jordan.
Oh yeah, Hal Jordan. Yeah. Oh, that looked fun. Yeah,
and
it was so good with the white. Gloves and the boots. It's like
the white gloves and boots.
Yeah, but I mean that's pretty comic accurate.
I saw a lot of people, on Twitter saying things like, well, he was never going to use Hal Jordan. He was going to go with Jon Stewart. Well, I mean, honestly, if you read the storyboards, he had both of them. He had Jon Stewart showing up at the end of ZSGL, and then in part 2 or part 3, depending on if he did a 3-parter. At the end of part 3 or the beginning of part 3 is when you would see Hal Jordan, because and then he would make reference to Jon Stewart
when he had the whole war showing up in the final battle.
Hey Austin, guess what? I don't sell animation movies. I sell comic books. So there.
Yeah. He does sell movies. We also got a super chat from Jason McKenzie. It's in there as well.
Jason, I put the link to Sci-Fi Center chat.
Yeah, check it out, man. Go for it. But
Aaron says, "I'd love to see Axel work on the artwork for the ZSGL sequel comic."
There you go.
Axel, can I bring up your super chats? Can I? Oh yeah, I can.
Yeah, you
Which
can.
One? Which one?
That's a super sticker, and I can see it on my end. But there's before that he did he had a super chat. He said, "Just let gun cook before we judge." And that's what I've been saying the whole time.
Here's a sentiment. I'm going to say this. It's not going to be popular. The customer doesn't have to let anybody do anything. That's the thing. Is like there's no reason, And when people say that, and they understand, like I said, somebody wrote it. I got who's writing that. It's people. I think it might have been why do people want this movie to flop? And I don't agree with that sentiment either. It's just as easy just not to watch it. But the customer makes those rules. We don't make those rules. The rules are what the customer makes them. That they're the person they're the judge, jury, and executioner at the end of this. If they don't want to give James Gunn the benefit of the doubt, even if I do, that there's no wrong answer there. The customer is the customer.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is I agree with Jason that look, I am not going to shit on James Gunn until I see his finished product, and now that
Me either.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like WBD. It seems like it's going to go through some more rocky times, but hopefully, he can kind of traverse that and give us some quality content. But like I said, I'm not going to shit on it until I actually see at least a trailer. Trying to shit on it when you're looking at pictures of a panel read and pictures of name cards and all this shit. It's kind of like you're just talking shit to talk shit. You're trying to devalue it before it's even done. It's kind of like, hey, look, when we see a little bit more, then we can start to talk shit. When we see the first trailer, that will give us a good indication of what this movie is going to look like, feel like, and maybe a little bit about how it could perform as well. But to me, I can't say anything until I get to that point.
Well,
that's us, we're preaching this to an environment that never got that benefit of the doubt for any of the movies that they did. So now it's really, I don't agree with it. I agree with what you're saying, but we've built this culture over the last 10 years of not doing that, of basically destroying these movies before. So now, when the flip side, it's kind of tough. And like I said, the onus is on DC Studios to put out the product. But I can't make with a straight face an argument to say that if you feel shitty about this, I'd have no argument for you, a credible argument to say why you shouldn't. I wish you wouldn't be part of the dead weight that's on all this genre, but I can't. You're the one that they're trying to lure to these movie theaters, and like I said, I think it gets even worse with the general audience because they don't make the noise; they just get up and leave, and that's the worst.
But before you guys go any further, of course, we have a little bit of a clarification here in the comments. Mighty Rax says Zach's Hal, Jordan's Ryan Reynolds, and we actually have Hal in the chat tonight saying I'm Zach's Hal. So dropping in from for protecting Sector 2014. But we always appreciate your presence, Hal Jordan.
He's broadcasting from Oa right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But still,
our audience is growing. Yeah.
and so supposedly, according to Zaslav, of course, and from James Gunn and Safran, is that they have a 10-year plan. Now, will that 10-year plan come to fruition? Well, only time will tell. But I mean, when I hear some of my friends saying I don't think it'll make it past Superman Legacy. I mean, to me, it's kind of like I feel that's more like
no, dude. That's actually a logical assumption.
I mean, yes and no. It just depends. It depends on how it performs. If it performs like The Flash, then I agree. Yes, they're in trouble. But if it does better than The Flash, which is not hard to do, then I think that there's a lot to it, and that it has more longevity.
A lot of that is by the time this comes out, Zaslav will be gone, more than likely. James Gunn's original contract is not a 10-year contract. He's got like a 4-year contract. So you're lining up with all this, and if you have a new regime, they could just run out the clock. I'm not saying that that's what they will do, but that is a very, very logical assumption given the history. We have evidence now. It's not just me guessing. We literally are talking about this now because a new guy came in and did his thing. We wouldn't even have James Gunn if it wasn't for new management.
Yeah, and actually, Hunter Iggy is telling me he has a couple of questions he wants us to highlight, so I'll go ahead and pull a couple of these up. I think I got the first one here. I think he's referring to who would be a potential buyer or merger partner coming up. And so, William, what about Sony? I don't see Sony.
Sony's not going to touch it because it's too much debt. Sony's profitable. Warner Brothers isn't right now. So, if I'm a Sony stockholder and you're even sniffing their WBD, I'm going to cut your balls off and say, stop it. Stop it right now.
You better hope they don't buy that. I mean, God, can you imagine the movies they're going to put out?
They could put out Across the Spider-Verse level movies, but they wouldn't be able to because your stock, whatever their stock is going to take a hit because you're assuming that for a library that they don't really need. They can get whatever they wanted from Warner Brothers, and vice versa. They would be the sellers, not the buyers. So no, I don't think Sony. If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be those three companies I named: Microsoft, Apple, or Amazon.
Yeah,
and Hunter I think so. Hunter also asks William Brad Nickatina, what if the new guy says I don't want Zack Snyder or James Gunn's universes?
It's possible. It's absolutely possible. Like if whoever this new guy could be, or a new company, or whatever happens, they could be like, no, I'm going to bring in my guy. Who knows? We have no idea what's really going to happen. But
unless there's a contract signed and made, like I said, and that's not something you can keep behind closed door too, because you got investors, you got people that are thinking about buying your stock and helping with this new merger. You got to let them know that there's going to be some stability. And if James Gunn is going to be the guy that you want to be the guy, you need to sign to a lock cut tight contract right now, because like I said, that's a very likelihood that if a new guy comes in, he's probably thinking about his vision before he even purchases a company. And that's just that's like I said, Zazov did it. So why would anybody be surprised if a new guy did it? And like I said, a 10-year plan, it
J-Money.
Yeah, Elon wouldn't right now. Elon's got other issues. But yeah, it's just more like but if a new guy came in and said, you know what, I like what I see, unlikely, then I'm going to keep it. But even if he keeps him in, it's gonna be, even if he doesn't jettison his vision entirely, he could do it in a way that puts a different type of directional pressure on it. So we're not getting what James Gunn, and then you have that all over again. So the fact that we don't know who's going to buy it, and that's what I'm saying. I have zero faith that this is going to be followed through until I know who's going to buy the company. And B, I see that it's not a guy that comes in. If there's a guy that comes in and says, it's a DC toy, just leave that there. I don't kind of give a fuck. Do whatever you want with that. That's you're good. But if it's one of these guys who's like, man, I grew up with Superman as a kid, and I've always thought, if I ever owned a company, and he's going to give you that violin story about Batman meant a lot to me as a kid growing up, you can start hearing the shit stomping right now, because that means that he's about to push in somebody else. And I don't think that's fair to Gunn. I don't think that's fair to anybody. But like I said, the stability of the company, more so the actors and the table reads, is the most important thing to me. Because like I said, do your best and put out the best movie. It could make $1 billion. You know what? The next guy is going to say, I think I can make $1.5 billion. The next guy doesn't care what you did. He thinks he can do better. Or they, because it might be a woman, they think they can do better. 1.5, okay, big deal. I can do better than that. I can do better than under better circumstances. So it really won't matter. It may not matter. I'm saying, it may not matter. And like I said, all this could not happen. But the fact that it is a very real possibility that people should be thinking about when they're deciding to dive into this pool, because there may not be any water there when your head hits the bottom of the pool. So it sucks, but it is what it is.
It's a brutal metaphor there. But yeah, no, it's. We'll see what happens. I don't think that WBD is really in a position where if they decided, okay, we're going to put our company up for sale, I don't even know if a lot of companies are going to be like, yeah, I'll buy it, or let's negotiate right now. I think they still need to get their ducks more in a row and tighten things up, because, I mean, they still got a lot of debt. And frankly, they still haven't put out anything when it comes to their Harry Potter universe. I know they're going to, but they haven't yet. So they haven't reestablished that yet. They haven't reestablished their DC brand yet, other than just word of mouth and posts from James Gunn. So there's still a lot of assets that they need to reestablish. And until they do that, I don't think that this company is really going to be in a position to go, be up for sale anytime soon.
Well, like I said, like the earliest they can do it apparently is April.
Yeah, coming.
It's coming, and that's in a few months. I mean,
And when he was asked the question, he's like, well, is Warner Brothers for sale? Well, we're a public company. Technically, yeah, all public companies are for sale. I'm like, and he moved around.
He said, somebody bail me out.
Like, somebody, can we end this interview? It's getting hot in here.
That's like I said, I dodging bullets there.
Yeah, I just want to know that before I get into any of this, that there's going to be more of it to go. Because like I said, I'm not one movie at a time. Yeah, fuck that. You're selling me a universe. That's what I want. I'll call it the DC. If you want to call it the DC, right, okay, I'm fine. You called it the DC universe. But you're implying that I'm getting more, and I've been here before. I've graduated from DC University, and that my diploma has a lot of heartbreak on it, and saying that, you know what, William, part of your learning plan is not to fall for that shit again. Take it from a safe distance. But the same thing, I'm not going to bash it. There are people out there. I don't get nothing out of the Superman legacy failing. That actually sets the entire thing back a while back, because Superman's already on thin ice with the general public because of the of the one time he was portrayed in a way that the general public could have probably gained traction with over time. He had his legs cut from under him, because all the other versions of cinematic Superman were aged. They belonged in the era that they came out with. So we haven't had one in so long, and when you had one, people fought it before the rest of the world got a chance to embrace it.
And of course now. And now, of course, they've also pinned, the end of Superman and Lois, to the making of Superman legacy. So yeah, like I've said, now they've created a situation where people are going to go into this movie associating it with losing not one but two Supermen they really loved.
This should have.
And that's what they said. They were like, we're going to get, we're going to end Superman and Lois because we don't want to cause any confusion. And I remember I was mentioning William. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is how they think. This is how stupid they are.
They don't deserve to have. You are basically telling me, Zaslav, if you're watching, because you're basically telling me I'm a fucking dummy. That I need scratch and sniff to get your story. And you're leaving money on the table. Now, granted, I'm not the biggest CW fan in the world, but this mindset, and it's not just with the movies, it's with the comics. Stop taking away the biggest advantage, the most unique advantage that you have that no one else has. No one else has this. No, even Marvel's it's not like DC's. They don't have an Elseworlds. They don't have the things like that. Not the way DC's done it.
But still, I mean, this is how they operate, and this is their mindset. And does it make any sense? No, it doesn't. But to me, the reason why Superman Lois is coming to an end is because I believe that, and I'm not trying to vilify anybody. What I'm saying is that I think, the idea that James Gunn is going to, he wants his DC universe to be on video games, television, and movies. So I feel like all other forms of media when it comes to DC are all coming to an end because they want to kind of recapture all that under one umbrella, which is DC Studios. Is it the best, smartest idea? I don't really think so, because I mean, you had shows that were actually profitable and that had a fan following and were popular. But if you're doing all this because at the end of the day, you want the next round of games, TV shows, and movies to fall under the DC Studios umbrella and be under one kind of universe, then I get why you're doing it. But the problem is that now you're taking things away from fans.
You're alienating a lot of your fan base, and it's
exactly. What if I okay, so here's another. I mean, this is more of a conspiracy theory here, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if when the Suicide Squad video game, when they pulled that back and said, "Hey, we're gonna revamp this and change this," right? It wouldn't surprise me if Gunn and company came in and also said, "Hey, make sure doing when you pull the game back and you redo it, let's make it to where this game is connected to the Arkhamverse. That way we end that." Because the next games that are going to be coming out, we want it to be under the DC Studios umbrella, under this new universe. So we don't want any fans to say, "Hey, well, this game's cool, but I'd love to have another Arkham game." Well, no, you're not going to get another Arkham game because this is connected to the Arkham universe, and now it's over. You know what I mean? So it seems like they're just chopping every limb that's stemming off of their main stock and saying, "Hey, look, now we're just going to do one universe, which is our new DC universe that Peter Safran and Gunn are helming."
And it's why it's like I'm actually starting to get concerned for the Batman part too.
I don't, because I mean they've already fully established that that's an Elseworlds project, and James Gunn himself has even said it's an Elseworlds project. So I don't think they're going to cancel the Batman 2.
You could apply that logic to any of the other stuff.
To any of it. That's why it doesn't make any sense. But the fact that you have Joker 2 coming out, I think that Joker and Batman are the exceptions to his universe because he inherited those. And I think, for whatever reason, he's going to let those what do you call it? Those two universes kind of finish themselves out.
I do think there's a structural mistake that David Zaslav did make, and I think it's going to come back. It could come back to her. DC Studios should only be the things that he's creating. I don't think he should have. I don't think if and here's why. And I explained this before. If Denis Villeneuve comes in with a Green Lantern story or a Superman story or something like that, and he, like I said before, he's coming in here and he's got his 2 Oscars because he's going to win Oscars. He may have more, but he comes in with his trophies. He comes in his Zaslav's office and puts those trophies on this thing and says, "Here's what I want to do." You think, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do it within his universe. But you think that whoever is in Zaslav's chair is going to be like, I don't. Yeah. You think he's going to let him after all these years of trying to get back Nolan level and people that he's going to get up without a signed deal? They will sign that deal before it's done, and that should not be on James Gunn. James Gunn should be focused on his and be a god within his own thing. But anything that is not under his thing, that the outside, the actual studio heads, the bosses want to do, they should be able to do without having to worry about this. Because you are going to have, it might not happen all the time, But you're going to have these guys that are accomplished that when they start telling these stories, they don't work for anybody. They work for the guy, the CEO of the actual company, but they don't work for another director. Or especially if some of them have a lot more, So, but you need to leave those open, and that's what an Elseworlds is. So, I mean, they definitely need. You should have never. And once you put James Gunn under everything, he takes the blame for everything. And I don't think that some of the stuff he's getting is not fair, but by the structure of things, it's a bad structure. Whatever James Gunn creates, that's his thing. That's his studio. That's within his thing.
I think also too is that they don't want to they want to stay in the Matt Reeves business. They want to stay in the Todd Phillips business. So I think another reason why they want those universes to kind of finish themselves out is because, for one, the first Joker was a very profitable movie, critically acclaimed as well. And so I think if they were like, yeah, we're not doing Joker 2, that would kind of put their foot in how do you say it? Putting their foot in their mouth. I think that when it comes to Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips, they want them to stick because they don't want to lose them. They don't want to piss them off, and then they go over to Universal or they go to Disney and say, screw those guys. I'm not going back there. They cancel my project I was working on. So I think that they want to keep those filmmakers happy, and they want to keep them under that the WB umbrella. And because they want more projects. I mean, look, they already want to bring Chris Nolan back. They want to get these guys back under their umbrella because I mean they're profitable, they're critically acclaimed, they win awards, and so they want that prestigious type of feel back under with their studio.
Nolan comes in with Ben Affleck, says, "I want to do the Batman." But I don't want to do it in James Gunn. You see, so this is like there's going to be things like that, and Nolan's going to have his own trope.
Imagine that's almost too good to be true. The idea of Chris Nolan taking on Ben Affleck's Batman movie.
But they just asked Nolan the other day. They said, would you ever want to come back to do a superhero movie? He said, no.
He's kind of flip flop over the last couple of years too. But I'm just throwing an opportunity out there. But anybody of that level. But you got more than just him at that level that's going to come to you and say, you know what? I think I want to do my own take of this. I respect what James Gunn's doing, but just because you're doing okay over here doesn't mean you can't do okay over here. And that's
honestly, I think that the days of Todd Phillips, Matt Reeves doing their own thing, with DC, or even another filmmaker doing their own thing with a Marvel property, I think those days are numbered. I think now it's just going to be. I mean, look at Marvel. You don't ever see a isolated superhero story that's a Marvel character that
they're not DC. That's what I mean by the difference between the two companies.
Now, I think that like you're saying, if they let filmmakers do that, then that's great. That's awesome. I think that's a way of a differentiation between DC and Marvel, but they're not. They're literally trying to do. They're trying to create their own DC machine based on the way Marvel did theirs, although they're going to do it a little bit differently, obviously, because he's going to have a universe starting that's already established in Superman Legacy, as opposed to when we got Iron Man. I mean, there wasn't a Marvel universe really established other than the Incredible Hulk. So
I think they're shooting themselves in their own foot, but like I said, people got to learn their own.
They're trying to play catch up, and so that's why it's like James Gunn is. James Gunn is trying to make his DC universe a universe that's already established, where the Justice League already existed, Batman already exists, all these characters already exist, because at this point, I think he figures, hey, look, I think fans they've had enough of the origin stories. Let's just jump right into this and just go at it, full steam ahead. And then J Money had that question for you as well.
So what is what was the version of Blade Runner that you told me was the absolute best version to get again? Was it like the international cut, and was it from 1997? The international cut is the best version of Blade Runner to find.
That's the best one. Okay.
Yeah, throw all others away. But we're gonna wrap it up because we went a little bit over an hour, and I got that wrestling to get to. But I think I hope they learn the quicker lesson that this singular storytelling thing is okay for other companies, but when you're DC, you have to be DC. And when I hear people saying they can make the comparisons,
Yeah.
as a 40-year collector and dealer, you're telling me that you don't know these IPs. If you can't know the distinct differences with what makes one different than the other, and you go with the boneheaded comparison, that's not good. Because, like I said, and the first CEO, studio head or whatever, that understands that his success comes from what makes DC special, that guy's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Was it James Gunn? I don't know, but I don't hear from his upper management that they seem to have that idea. It seems like they're making the same mistakes that DC has always made. They prune the things that make them special, just trying to be someone else. Let Marvel be Marvel.
Yeah.
Let Marvel be Marvel. Let DC be DC. Nickatina, where can they find you, man?
You can find me at my channel on YouTube called Nickatina. I cover all kinds of news when it comes to comic book movies and DC, Marvel, and Star Wars. I've been focusing a lot of my attention on shorts because with my work schedule, my family schedule, it makes it easier for me to kind of manage everything. And then I also have a sports channel called Your Area Sports, and I have another channel called Beyond the Unknown that I'm working on as well. To try to get that one up and running as well. But the main channel you can find me on that applies to everything we're talking about is Nickatina over on YouTube.
Brad?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Vera. You can find me here, there, on Facebook. Of course, check out all my wonderful writing. I've shared with you guys plenty of times on all this wonderful nerd stuff we talk about. And you can find me here on the Sci-Fi Center. And, of course, tomorrow is going to be Man of Steel watch party, and then the one that's not part of the multiverse.
Man of Steel.
I have to
Scary Movie at 5, and then our overnighter at 8.
And thank you, Jason McKenzie. Dude, Jason, you're the man. You rock.
Yeah, man. Hook us up now. All right, guys. Well, so later on this afternoon, we're doing Man of Steel for this reason right here. To add, actually, Scary Movie to raise funds and awareness for suicide.
It's a great movie.
One of the resources, the most readily available resources that you could ever use is 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. 24/7 call, text, chat. Even if you don't need it, make sure it's out there for those. You're going to see plenty of us, especially me and Brad, within the next 24 hours. So I apologize in advance. And I will see you guys at the earliest will be 2 p.m.
There it is.
See you later.
There, dudes.
And for those of you wrestling geeks, keep an eye on the page, the YouTube page. It'll give you the alert. I'm about to roll right into Elimination Chamber if you want to join me, and I'll post the links and everything else. So see you.